I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts after the extreme reactions, both euphoric and devastated, that people have shared with me post the presidential election. I work with a lot of Black people, and one thing I observe is that the Black people I work with in politics aren't working with the Black people I work with in activism and community organizing, who aren't working with the Black people who are working in academia, who aren't working with the Black people who are working in in outreach. And it's just, and everyone complains that, well, I voted and you didn't vote and you're the problem. Or I'm a grassroots activist and I don't vote because I'm doing this and you do that and you're the problem. And the problem is the solution for Black people has to be holistic. And that means you have to be holistic. That means you can't just do one thing when we are being attacked from a 360-degree angle. We're being attacked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year in every area, educationally, politically, culturally, spiritually, economically. And if you sit there and do your one thing and refuse to contribute to the activities of others, and you choose to ostracize yourself from other Black people because they don't dress like you get the people who complain that, well, those people over there wearing African clothes or those people over there wearing suits. It doesn't matter. Those people who are working for Black liberation need to work together. The approach and solution has to be holistic. And until you are holistic in your approach, we are going to keep having the problem. So this isn't a video intended to berate people, but one of the things we need most in the Black community is individual and group accountability. You have to be accountable for knowing what's going on in your community. You have to be accountable for knowing who are your allies inside the community and who are your allies outside the community and who are your enemies inside the community. You have to be accountable for doing as much as you can, not picking the one thing that's easy and sticking with that and hoping that, other Black people will just join you. You have to be holistic. And until that happens, the complaints need to stop, because the pointing fingers at everyone else who's not doing what you're doing is not working. The few there are a number of people around the country who have stood up and have constantly stood up for Black unity. And Let's Buy Black 365 just did a video where we asked people to really close your eyes and visualize what Black unity would look like. And visualize it happening only when you contribute to the solution. We can't sit back and say, I am waiting for someone to do that Black unity thing and then I'll join in. You are the solution to Black unity. You are the solution to ending police brutality, to ending undereducation, underemployment, underfunding of infrastructure. You are the solution. So it's not about anyone else. It's about changing our psychology and recognizing that we are damaged and broken and still have so much to do as a result of the enslavement process and the constant onslaught from mainstream media and ourselves. We have so much that beats us down that most of us can't even recognize what free thinking looks like. That means you have to engage in the expectation that you're not going to get all your information from turning on your television. And that means asking the question and actively seeking out, where do I go to get community news and information? Where do I go to find the people who are actually making a difference? And until that happens, until you make the choice to do it, until you make the choice to be a part of the solution, you are part of the problem. And that's a really hard pill for most people to swallow. I can't be a part of the problem. The problem must be over there. And I'd like to leave on some kind of note of inspiration, but I am hoping that those of us who live by example and take holistic approaches to engaging in our community, those of us who do more than just voting and try and learn what is happening politically on a local and national level and international level, because that affects us too. I'm hoping that we are joined by those of us, and I'm including myself in all of these groups, those of us who are boots on the ground, one-on-one educating, who join with those of us who take on causes, and those of us who do campaigns, and those of us who recognize that even health and diet and nutrition and all of these things play a part. The solution has to be holistic, and you have to be holistic too. And this is not intended to be a personal attack, but maybe this election can be a wake-up call. Maybe instead of being offended every time someone says something you don't want to hear or that you don't like, instead of just taking your offense and going home, taking your ball and going home, maybe it's an opportunity to expand and grow and try something new. Because I guarantee so far, checking out and just turning off people who say things you don't like hasn't worked. And it won't keep your Black male family member from being shot in the face in the street. And it won't keep your neighbors from being evicted from their house. And it won't stop the redlining where people can't get mortgages, so they can't create businesses, so they can't reinvest in community. It is Wednesday, November 9th. And literally, you can wake up and be a part of the solution. Or you can continue to do what you're already doing. I suggest that if we truly love Black people, we don't have to like everybody. But if we truly love Black people, we will get over the differences. I work with people who I don't agree with all the time. We may have different approaches and strategies, but I look for where can we align on common ground. And let's focus on that. Not, I disagree with you, and so because I disagree with you, I can't work with you. The only people who I can't work with are people who are openly subversive, and I don't come across many of those. Most people love Black people. And I don't worry about the few who have so much self-hatred that they can't get past that. if you really loved Black people, and if you really want to see a change for yourself, your community, your family, internationally, because our brothers and sisters on the continent are being attacked. Our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean are being attacked. Our brothers and sisters in South and Central America are being attacked. If you want to see a change, then the change has got to start with you. And it has got to start with at least acknowledging that the monolithic or excuse me, the one dimensional approach cannot work, and that it has to start with unifying with other Black people. We did campaigns earlier this year called Black Solutions for Black Communities, where we looked at a social experiment where what if we only used Black resources to try and help and save ourselves in Flint, Michigan, and now with the tragedy in Haiti? And what if we actually trusted ourselves enough to be the solution for ourselves? What if we stopped looking at everyone else to help? What if we stopped trying to change everyone else outside of Black people and to get them to do something that in 400 years has never been demonstrated once? I get emotional, but I am thankful for groups like the National Association of Black Psychologists, who even formed and came into existence because they recognize that we are truly broken and damaged, and they work every day to help us begin to heal from a tragedy that's still going on. My mother, Dr. Maria Kanban, said on the radio last week, there's that, we're not even in post-traumatic slavery. We can't even deal with post-traumatic slavery healing because we're not post-trauma. The trauma's still going on. And I'm thankful for those who work in political spaces against massive opposition but are still fighting the fight. And I am thankful for those in academia who are working with Black children and trying to shape Black children's minds to not just know what to think, but know how to think. And I am thankful for grassroots activists who, are not afraid to put boots on the ground in many different ways on different subjects, from health and community violence and all of these kinds of things. But we can't just, one thing, as I'm a business consultant, and one way that is a surefire way to run your business into the ground is if you just focus on one thing. If you just focus on marketing, development, and your customer service and your supply chain is messed up, then your business fails. If you just focus on being good at this one thing and delivering this one thing, your business fails. You have to be holistic in your thinking and your approach and your evaluation in order to be successful in business. And we have to adopt that kind of business mindset about the business of Black people. So we need to wake up today and really be about the business of Black liberation. That's the only choice. It's either Black liberation or continuing to passively and actively support and finance this system of racism and white supremacy and our own oppression. Those are the only two choices. And you can choose to hear this and be upset and do business as usual, or you could take this in the spirit of love and optimism that it's delivered in, and consider, where can I go to connect with people who I haven't connected with before, and how can I get more engaged in my community in ways that I've never explored before, so that I can make a difference. Because instead of looking at today as the end of something, today is the beginning of everything for Black people. That's all I have to say. Thank you.